Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim as we get ready for Jim Boeheim Day in the Dome. Coach, it's always great to chat with you. It's been a while. How are things?
Everything's great. It's amazing how many people can coach other people's teams. I just love that. Draymond Green, from wherever, who's a very good player, although not always under control, obviously, is coaching a game that he doesn't know whether guys are hurt, tired, what the defense is doing, and the fact that, we scored so many in the first half and not so many in the second half is not unusual. Normally, when you have a big outburst in the first half of a game, the second half is much different. You very rarely, against a good team, put two 50-point halves together. That almost never happens. And the fact that Chris was just face-guarded makes it very hard to get shots for him. And the other guys took advantage of it and got to the basket. And, those are things that happen. But the one thing I've always felt over the years, and now even especially when you announce games, you cannot coach somebody else's team. You really can't. You don't know what's going on and what they're trying to do. But it doesn't keep people from trying to do it.
Coach, when that happens to you when you were coaching in the first half, your adjustments are going to be at halftime. That guy doesn't touch the ball, right?
Well, yeah, and you always try to make adjustments. Remember when Jerry McNamara had, I believe, 6 threes in the first half of a fairly important game?
Right.
He didn't make any in the second half either. He was kind of spent, and the game opened up for Melo and Bill Edlin and Josh Pace because Kansas put their best defender on Jerry and just stayed with him and didn't help. So even though he didn't score, he helped us being in the game. And, those things happen. I mean, coaching is a game of adjustments. You make adjustments in the first 2 minutes, 3-4 minutes of a game sometimes, and then you continue to make them. Sometimes they're small, but sometimes they can be important adjustments. And playing a guy with 2 fouls sometimes is really good for your team, because sometimes you take a guy out with 2 and you get into a bad stretch, and even though he doesn't have fouls in the second half, you're too far behind to catch up. So there's a lot of different things involved in strategies, and they're all different. There's a lot of different small stuff, but it's important stuff.
We could have used you in here on Wednesday. Why didn't we think of that, Paulie? We should have used Jerry McNamara in the title game as the example. That would have been a great example to bring up. How have you made this transition to TV? I knew you were going to be really good at it. You are really good at it. Are you having fun doing it?
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm that good. It's fun to do, and it's fun to be around the game and to see coaches, get to talk to coaches during shoot-arounds and before the game, after the game sometimes. It's fun to see the players. I get to talk to some of the guys that we've played against for years, and all that's fun. The fans have been great to me wherever I've gone. Really, really nice, really Duke, Carolina, wherever I've been, they've been really nice, and it's good to be connected to the game. I thought I would miss the game a little bit, and I don't miss the coaching part of it at all. I think I was at the right limit, right time, because I really even have trouble. I go to practice for a few minutes, and I just usually go home after 10 minutes. I just felt it was just the right time, and Adrian has done a great job with this team. I think they've really way overachieved when you consider the injuries, when you consider that, obviously it didn't work out with Benny, those different things. We're playing 6 sophomores. I don't think anybody in the country is playing without any juniors, any seniors on their team. And the ACC conference is very good, unlike what Mr. Lenardi tries to put out there. And at the end, I think we'll have 5 or 6 teams in the tournament, and I still think Syracuse has a way to get there. We've beaten some good. They're still talking about Oregon being in the tournament, and we beat them by 20 points, and they're profile isn't all that different from ours. And we've had a couple good quality wins, quad one wins, and I think we can get another one or two. So it's not out of the question that we can't make a run to get into the tournament. But I think 5 or 6 teams are going to get in. I think Pitt will get in because of their road wins, and I think Wake will get in because I think they're a really good team. So a lot better league than people want to make it out to be. Some teams have inflated nets because they played nobody, and even though you only get a 10-point margin of victory, if you're playing nobody, you're going to have great offensive efficiency and great defensive efficiency, and that figures into the net. I mean, you can just look at Wake Forest. They beat Virginia. If they'd have beat them by 5 points, they would have gone up 2 or 3 places in the net. They beat them by 30. They went up 11 places in the net. So margin of victory obviously is very important. And you can build your net. There's a bunch of teams that have really good nets who played nobody in the non-conference season. And usually the committee looks at that and takes that into consideration.
Yeah, Syracuse has the 5th strength of schedule in the country, so that you hope they look at that.
Yeah, you hope so. Our RPI is good, and, they don't use RPI, but I think it's a better measure than the net is anyway. But, we played good teams. We've beaten some good teams. We've won away from home a little bit. Some people haven't won away from home at all. I think we're still in the hunt. It's going to be tough. We got to win these games, but I still think it's doable.
Coach, I'm not a GM in basketball, and I'm not very bright, as you like to point out. But
never said that.
But
I might have said your basketball IQ might not be the highest.
But Buddy signed a 2-year deal with the Detroit, which means somebody probably came a sniffing after him. Maybe, talk about Buddy signing that 2-way deal.
Well, that's exactly what happened. Somebody tried to get him, and they didn't want to lose him. He's having a great year. He doesn't get a lot of help. They don't set screens or anything, but when a couple of the shooters go up, Buddy averages about 28 points a game. When they're down, he just doesn't get enough shots. But he's leading the league, or close to leading the league, in made threes and three-point percentages. He's getting better. He's gotten better. He's worked hard at his game. He still can get better, I think. I think his defense has improved. I think he'll work hard this rest of this year over the summer, and I think he'll have a chance. And that's all you can hope for in the NBA. It's competitive. There's 17 players on every team. It's very competitive, very hard to get in there. But he's worked hard for it, and certainly we'll get a pretty good shot now moving forward.
All right, Coach, let's talk about tomorrow. And, we've been hearing about this for quite some time, the plans around Jim Boeheim Day. How do you feel about this personally? And what is this day going to mean for you?
Well, it's important. I love that. I mean, I'm not big on these things, as you well know, but to see all of the players that are coming back, there's a bunch of players coming back. Always good to see them, to be in the building again, to get a chance to thank the fans for all these years. That's been the difference in our program. Our fans have been great for all those years. They never went away. They never. We had some disappointing years. We had some NIT years, and the fans were there. I remember one year we were going to NIT, and we had a non-important home game at the end of the year. I think it was Boston College. We had 24,000 people there. The fans have been unbelievable here, and it'll be good to see them again, to see a game in the Dome. Big game. Notre Dame's very difficult team. The ACC has teams you just can't look past. They're all capable of beating you, and Notre Dame's one of those teams. They've got really good young players and really good young guards. But it'll be fun to be there. I'm looking forward to it, and it's just one of those things that I've gotten enough cheers and awards and stuff in my life. I've been very lucky. I don't feel like I need anything more. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Coach, when you look at the state of college basketball, have you stopped to look at like what you did? And we took calls when you guys had your first losing season, but I look around the landscape of college basketball. You look in this conference, you look at Louisville, you look at Notre Dame, you look at Michigan this year. Those schools are all, blue bloods and power schools, and they really struggled.
It's different. I mean, it's hard. The game's different. There's so many things going on with the transfer portal, NIL, that, they're difficult. They need to be figured out. I don't know how exactly, but there needs to be something figured out with the conference realignments and things. It is a crazy atmosphere, crazy world, but you do the best you can. You work your way through it as best you can. And I think that the coaching staff this year, Adrian, has done an incredible job of doing that with all the adversity that they've had. But, yeah, I mean, college basketball, it's crazy right now. There's just so many different things going on. And you really wish you had an answer for it, but I don't know. We don't have an answer. I know Congress isn't going to give us an answer. I know that. Somehow college presidents have to figure this out and get us to where we can, have some semblance of peace. The transfer portal's been good for a few kids. It's been bad for a ton of kids. The statistics are crazy. Somebody gave me the statistics that 400 kids don't get scholarships that go into the transfer portal. And of the kids that go in, 60% do worse where they transfer to. Now, some work out good. There are some cases that work out good, but the overwhelming majority don't work out. But, it's here to stay, and NIL is here to stay. And we just have to figure out how to navigate our way through it. The one thing I know for certain is you don't want to lose good players like we lost Jesse Edwards this last year to NIL. You don't want that to happen. You have to fight that. I look at our program with Jesse Edwards this year, we'd be in a better place, and he would be in a better place because they're terrible at West Virginia right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As we say, Paulie, all the time, it's a risk when you transfer.
Coach, I like to predict to Steve the 180 crazy thing we're going to see from fans on Twitter, and I just want you to brace you for this. This is going to happen. We're going to see tweets that say it's going to go from Buddy should not have been playing at Syracuse to Jim Boeheim should have won more games with Buddy.
100%. I have never been on Twitter, even though I have a thing that somebody runs for me. I've never been on it. I don't know how to get on it, fortunately. But, there's always going to be opinions. The thing you learn early in coaching is, people are going to think you should do better no matter what you do. And, without the takeaway, we probably won about 74% of our games, and I'm sure people think we should have won 80. And, that's okay. Everybody's allowed an opinion in life, and, Twitter gives social media gives people a chance to express it, which is in some ways unfortunate, but that's just part of life. And, you just move on. It's just knowing that's what coaching is, and people have strong opinions, and they may be 100% wrong most of the time, but they're allowed to have a strong opinion. I remember one guy thought we should start like 6 different guys that weren't starting, and none of them ever started, and they all transferred and never started where they went to.
Yep. Well, listen, Coach, you've meant so much to so many people for so long in this town. You deserve tomorrow. I hope you enjoy it. It's great to hear from you. You sound very happy. Continued success to you and your family, and we'll see you inside the Dome tomorrow.
Well, I thank you, and I just will finish with, I'm not sure. I'd like to finish with just how lucky you get to be to watch on the sidelines for Syracuse, Georgetown, Syracuse, Duke, 6 overtime games, which don't happen much, and all the great moments we've had in the Dome.
Well said, Coach. Well said. And with that, we hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy the weekend. You deserve it. And we'll see you inside the Dome tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Jim Boeheim joining us here on the show. Jim Boeheim Day, noon tip, inside the Dome tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's after the game. The ceremony will be after the game, so stick around. I don't want to see the Dome looking like an ant farm with 4 minutes left in the game, and you see the people scurrying out to get beat. Stick around.
And as Coach Autry said, a little more pressure now on the team tomorrow to get a win against Notre Dame and make it a great day inside the Dome. It will be win or lose. Let's take a time out here. We'll open up the phone lines. We've got Tony Simeone for Notre Dame basketball. He's the voice of the Irish. He'll join us at 12:30. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.